Hi everybody, welcome to the channel. This is Rob. Today we're going to be reviewing a tarot deck called Madame Lulu's Book of Fate, a guide to the carnival at the end of the world, tarot by Sarah Faulkner. You guys, for those that are new to the channel, welcome. For those that are coming back to the channel, thank you for coming back. Let's get into this deck. I have to tell you guys, this is one of my most artistic decks I have. This is not a new deck. It didn't just come out or anything like that. It's also not new for me. I've had this deck for about 3 years, and it's a very nice deck. Let's get into it. It comes in a tuck box like this. And this is what the front and the back of the box look like. The sides of the box. Let's get in there. This tuck box is not very sturdy, by the way. And I think it's a really beautiful tuck box. You can bend it all the way here on the back so that the cards come out easily. And for this particular deck, I have one of my bags here that I order from this woman in England, and she hands made these. And I've shown a couple of other bags that I have from her on previous videos. And whenever I get a flimsy box like this, or a box that is not so resistant, I usually cover them in a bag so that I can protect them a little bit better, because I do like to keep my decks on their boxes. And so this is one of those bags, and I think it goes perfect with this deck, right? The snake and the purple of it. I don't know. I thought that it would be very that it would match really well. So these bags I get in Etsy, you guys. Once again, it's a woman. It's in England. It takes a while for the bags to get to me, at least, because I'm not in England, but they're beautiful. They're on the expensive side, and I'll do a review on these bags sometime. But for now, we're going to stick to this beautiful deck right here. You guys, I'm going to tell you what I like about this deck, and I'm going to tell you what I don't like about this deck. As I said, it's not a new deck for me. It doesn't come with a book like this. This book, I don't know. I had to buy this book separate. It costed me extra money to get this book. It doesn't come included on the set. At least it didn't for me. Maybe some other retailers will have it included, but I had to buy the book separate. And I thought that I really needed the book because it is such a special deck that and unusual, that I thought I really needed to have the book to sort of learn the artist's reference to the cards. And I'm glad that I did. Let's get into the book a little bit in case you are thinking of buying this book. It is Text 2018 by Sarah Faulkner, Images 2018 by Kahn and Selznick. First edition was 2018, revised second edition to 2020. So I'm not sure if I think I have the revised second edition is what I have. So, and here, this book is pretty thick, so it's going to cover plenty. The pages are not numbered, but if I had to guess, this is probably like 120 pages. And here it gives you some wording that you may find useful. You can pause your device and read that. Madame Lulu addresses the querent to help them contextualize the journey they are about to embark upon. And so it just keeps going. You can pause again and read that. It's just too long for me to read on this video, but feel free to do that. The Insubordinate Arcana. Madame Lulu now introduces the Insubordinate Arcana, a newly added section of face cards that are unique to her Book of Fate, and gives a brief history of the tarot and these new cards' relationships thereto. if you're unfamiliar with, and you can pause there. Once again, you can pause there. It's just a lot for me to read, you guys. I'll never finish. So, but you can pause and you can read at your own leisure. And it has a couple of extra cards, not a couple, I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it has 6 extra cards that she's included on the deck. You'll see them on the flip through. And here it gives you the descriptions of what those cards are and what they mean. And then this book goes into the major arcana, as you can see. And then it goes into the minor arcana. And that's pretty much it, you guys. Let's see if we can find something about the artist and the creator of this deck. As I said, this is one of my most artistic decks on my collection. Yeah, Robert, the Tarot History, Symbolism, and Divination, 2005. But here. Traveler, to ask a question is to start a journey. The carnival at the end of the world is a book of fate. A traveler's gazetteer, loose leaf and unbound. It is for you to shuffle and arrange the narrative. It is for you to play with the cards, the game of chance in which the unseen has a hand and thereby tells a story you may hear. With advice and messages for you, if only you quiet your own mind, Madame Lulu. And that is true. If we do not quiet our own mind, then nothing really gets through, right? That's why I think those moments of reflection and deep breathing and solitude are so important, to be able to quiet our minds and to let what we want to get into really come, and so that we can explore something else other than what is torturing us in those minds of ours, right? At least on mine. My mind is just like a train, you guys. It doesn't stop. I really actually need to stop, and I need to quiet it and just put it to rest. Otherwise, it's not going to stop. Let's get into the cards, you guys. This is a very artistic deck, like I've already said 3 times, I think, but because this is a piece of artwork, by the way. The creator of this deck really put a lot of thought into it, and it has created a beautiful deck. One of the things that I'm so totally disappointed with this deck is this paper quality. It slides. It's that linen sort of paper, and but it's on the slippery side and it's on the shiny sort of side, and it just slides all over the place. I think you know what I'm talking about. The Pagan's Other Worlds has the same paper. Or quality cardstock. And so if you know the Pagans, this is exactly the same thing. And I just find it extremely uncomfortable to work with. It slides all over the place. It doesn't stay on my hands. And it's difficult to work with in a lot of ways. When it comes to shuffling, this paper will give you no problem. And by the way, the card size is regular card size, you guys. It's not bigger, it's not smaller, it's just a regular card size. And when it comes to shuffling, it shuffles okay. I mean, like I said, they're slippery, and so they may tend to go all over the place. You have to be careful when you shuffle them. They're sort of on the heavier side, which is kind of weird for such a thin paper, because it is thin. It's a little bit too thin for me. And like I said, if you know the Pagan Other Worlds, this is the same sort of quality cardstock, and I'm not into it. I don't like this cardstock, but you know, it is forgiven. The quality cardstock is forgiven on this deck because it is just such a beautiful and well done deck that is just such a piece of artwork. It looks like she hand drew all of these paintings, and it looks, every single one of them looks like a painting on its own, and it's just absolutely beautiful and really well thought out and tasteful and just magical in every single way. Although I don't really relate to the images a lot, I'm so glad that this deck is on my collection. I feel like this deck belongs to my collection. I feel that not having this deck would definitely be a minus. I really love this deck for the artwork that's in it. Though I don't use it much, you guys. I have to be honest. I do take it out once in a while just to look at the paintings. I say paintings or images, if you like to call them images, but because they're so beautiful, and I love, like I said before on other videos, I love to know what the artist's own interpretation of the major arcana and the minor arcana is, and so I appreciate that, and I'm an art collector, and I'm a tarot and oracle deck collector. Not only because of the divination, because of the artwork, as I've said before. I just love art, and every single card deck that is out there, whether I like it or I don't, whether I identify with it or I don't, they're all pieces of artwork, and they all have their pros and their cons, but they're all beautiful in their own way. Whether I identify with the deck or not, that's another story. But I respect creators' decks. And going back to this particular deck, this one is not gilded, and that's fine. I don't think that I don't mind that at all. Like I said in other videos, whenever I don't find any gilding, or whenever I find frames, like on this one, I don't go ahead and cut anything. I don't gild anything. I leave the decks exactly how the creators intended the decks to be. If I could change the paper on this one, I would. So I guess that would be an exception to the rule, right? Because if I could do that, I probably would. It's just too slippery for me. But, this paper works perfect in a fan situation. So if you want to do a fan situation with this paper, I think out of everything, out of any possible positive point about this cardstock, is that it just spreads beautiful when you do a fan situation. So let's look at some of the images together, you guys, and let's sort of get a feeling for the deck. Of course, I have done, or we will do, a flip through of this deck completely, so you can see every single image. And don't forget to tell me what you think. Please leave on the comments. What do you think about this deck? Is it something that appeals to you? Is it not? I love to hear from you guys. Let me zoom in a little bit so we can look at these cards a little bit better together. This is the Nine of Wands, and as you can see, I don't think you can say that it's RWS based, because it really has its own language, this deck. And if you want to know about how this deck is going to chat with you, you're going to have to do a reading on your own with this deck, because I haven't really identified the language of this deck. It just, to me, it's really more of a piece of artwork. The images don't really speak to me when it comes to divination. Maybe I could do clarifiers on this. That could be, but to do a whole spread with just this deck wouldn't happen for me. I don't see that happening. It would be very difficult for me to do a complete reading with this deck. But a clarifier, I could do a clarifier with this deck, and I have done clarifiers with this deck, and it's kind of cool, and it adds a little twist to the reading, and the seekers always find this deck to be so interesting, and they look at it and they say, what does that mean? What is that? Because the images are so unusual that it just lends itself to that. This is the Magician, you guys. So You know, make up your own opinion of what that magician looks like, or what if that really speaks to you, in any way. But then again, this is a carnival, right? So it's about the paintings or the images, it's about the outfits, it's about what you see and what you don't see, and I appreciate it for what it is. I'm glad that this deck is on my collection. Really, I am. This is the Knight of Pentacles. And once again, make up your own mind of what you think about this. It's a carnival, so these are dressed up. All of these characters are dressed up. He looks like he has a chef's hat there, and it looks like he has a mask from a sort of a Venetian-looking mask, and it's just it sort of says clown to me a little bit too. So. But it is one of those decks that will just make your imagination go wild. This is justice. And the only thing that I see about justice here is the scale. Anything else is anything but justice. So, look at this animal here, which has like different coatings on it. The end of it looks like it's a crocodile. The middle part looks like it may be a leopard. And the last part of it looks like it could be like a dachshund. So let's look at some of the other cards together. Let's look at more of the cards together. The Hangman. This one is a pretty typical Hangman. Not typical, but you obviously have a Hangman there. And it's sort of being carried away by the owl. And it's pretty cool. It's tattooed all over with like stars. It's a very artistic deck, you guys. So this is the Orlovsky, and this is one of those characters that she added extra to the deck. And so you will find it on the book. It's right here, to be exact, and you can go ahead and pause your device and read that if you like, what the meaning of that card is. It's too long for me to read. So this is the Eight of Cups. Yeah. I don't know. It looks like a Medusa, right? Like a sea salt Medusa, and yeah, it's interesting. This is the Five of Wands. Usually in the Five of Wands we see different characters going at it. Here we just see one character trying to handle all five wands, which is a pretty cool description of this card. I never really thought about it that way. It's not really the outside forces that will always influence the Five of Wands, but it's actually, us maybe trying to handle all of the five wands at time and trying to become a master at it. So I find this card very, very interesting on this particular deck and how it relates to the RWS. This is the Two of Cups. This is a pretty traditional Two of Cups, I guess. Union, love, but I like the outfits here. It's like they're dressed up, and so they have two cups there. And it looks like there's a liquid inside of those cups. This deck is a little bit phallic as well, as you can see here. So it's a little bit of everything, you guys. Let's look at a couple of more. The Queen of Pentacles is really, really cool. Look at all the fruits that are on her. And then there's like a goat here, like a small little goat. Pretty cool. There's the rabbit. And she's holding her pentacle there. Let's do just one or two more for the road. And then we'll do our flip through. This is the Fool. So this is a pretty... you can tell that this is the Fool, right? I really like the Fool card because it has a lot of the... he's carrying the characters of the deck on the back of the stick. So the Fool is a new beginning, it's a new adventure, and it kind of just, it's where the whole story begins, right? So it's kind of cool to see all of the, not all of them, but a lot of the characters that are depicted on the deck on the back of his stick. And then there's the monkey there trying to warn him not to look, because he's looking the other way and he's looking at his characters. So Page of Cups. Interesting Page of Cups, right? So you guys, I'm going to do a flip through of it, of the deck, and you're going to look at all of it. You guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for coming back. For those of you that are coming back, for those of you that are new, welcome. And I'm going to set the cards here, you guys. I'm going to do a flip through like I mentioned already 3 or 4 times. I'm going to play a little bit of music for you. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. As I always say, you guys, sit back and enjoy the ride. you.